Hello to myself and everybody else. This is video 13. So far today, I'm going to look at some of the music that I've made for my game and everything. Mostly for the older stories and everything like that. So I can just look at that and just kind of like run back through, see what I did, take note of my patterns that I normally do, and just see what I can like remember and learn from this, because I normally take like a year off between each song, so I want to make sure that I'm just, able to just remember everything and just actually improve for the last story. But one thing I did want to note real quick, in my other video introducing BeepBox and everything, so far I said scrolling down, there was like stuff at the bottom like tweets and stuff like tweets from people showing their like links to their songs and everything. So far that's gone, because again, it's been a while since I used this, like since the summer. But yeah, so far just scrolling down and stuff like that too at the bottom basically just like has instructions and like, patch notes and everything, stuff like that. Plus I even found that there's apparently a offline version of this, which I'll probably check out eventually. But so far this was the main thing that I just wanted to just correct myself on that. But yeah, so far for this one right here, this is the original main menu music for the game. And then I have another one that is the updated version of that, where basically, well, just looking at the first one, basically with this one I just end up using like 3 square waves and chip noise for the drums. And then in the updated one, I ended up adding a triangle wave, because basically after like story 2, I ended up realizing using the triangle wave kind of fills in a little bit of space that I thought was missing and stuff before. So I just started adding those and everything to it. But so far I'm going to listen to the original one, and then I'm just going to play the updated one and just see if there's like a difference in everything and stuff like that. And then I'm just going to like try to go through real quick and just see like what my thought process and stuff was when I first started like making this and everything. So this one is the old one. Okay, and this one is going to be the updated one that I currently use in the game, where I just added a triangle wave and stuff to it. So I'm just going to play that one. Okay, so basically with both of these, just going back listening to it, that I can definitely hear like the sound difference between like the new one and the old one. Basically, specifically with it coming down to like, well, specifically the bass and stuff for it and everything too, where it just feels like there's like less missing in it. Because if I just play the beginning of this one and then compare it to the original one, like it does sound a little bit different and stuff. Because this one with the triangle wave feels like it has a bit more bass and stuff behind it compared to the other one that doesn't have it. Plus, the one notable difference is that I turned the volume up a tiny bit and stuff too on the new one compared to the old one. But yeah, that's the other thing, stuff to that too. Now, just looking at what I did and everything and stuff like that, a thing I noticed with a lot of my music is that I normally just make the bass and everything and stuff like that first. Because with this one, I just start off with the bass and stuff for it too, which plays through the entire thing just repeatedly. And then with the drums, same thing. I just use the same thing for that, except for like one, like six that I use like in two different places. But that's mostly just how I make my music and stuff most of the time, and all that. Just starting with the bass. Then from there, I'll just like add the melody in after I repeat the bass a few times. It's a pattern that I get a It's a pattern that I really get tired of like seeing myself do, but it does help with like looping a lot of music, so I can just like make one loop and then just play it over and over again. But beyond that, it's just I do get tired of just seeing that a lot, and I'm going to see it a lot when I look back at all this stuff. But so far, the menu and everything, this was like the last song I made for Story 1. And just looking at it is that like, the other thing I noticed that like with my melodies and stuff like that too, I usually make those as an afterthought. I'll make the bass to set the tone of it, so if it's like, intense, fast, or whatever, use the drums to set the speed, and then I'll just make the melody afterwards where it's just something. Like, it's kind of forgettable, like just hearing. Like, just hearing that, like, to me, I remember it pretty well because I, like, heard this a lot just trying to make it, but. And plus, to me, it's like the main theme of my game, so that's why I remember it. But I just feel like if somebody else hears this, they probably would forget it, like, pretty quick. Which, to me, doesn't really seem too bad, because I'm fine with my music being okay and forgettable for now, just, trying to get better at it. But if it's, like, memorable, but really terrible, then to me, that feels like it would just be really bad. So I'd rather have something forgettable but not bad. So just for now, just kind of keep it, or actually, for now, just try to get better, so I don't like mess up and do something else later on. Just like last story, I want to make something actually good. But another thing that I ended up doing with this is, because this is before I really like started messing around a bunch, because the old one is the one I originally messed around with, is that I didn't really know about adding like channels and stuff like that too. So legit, I thought this was like all I could do. So with that, that's why it's very limited and everything like that, where it's just like melody up top, other melody here, the bass for the third one, and then the drums. So that's why it's like that and everything. And then once I figured out what a channel was and I could add it, then I added something else. But yeah, so that was one like limitation that kind of like, once I learned I could get around that, made me at least improve a little bit. But the other thing is that, like, starting with the melody and everything, is that I normally just start off with the melody, just something, and then I just repeat it. So I'll make like, the first part, second part, third, and fourth. So basically, like, with a lot of them, I kind of do a different pattern with this, where I'll make like one pattern, a second one, then repeat the first one, and then I'll probably make like a fourth one that just ends it, and then from there I'll just move on to either repeating it again or just something else. But with this one, I at the very least, like, I still repeat a lot, but at least I switch it up for the first four rather than just only using like two and then, or probably three. And then another pattern here is where like I'll use one row and then just go down to the bottom using an old thing and then go up to the top and make something else. And just keep making this like zigzag pattern and everything like that too. Another thing I just keep doing a lot. And then like just the other thing I do where I'll just go here and just cut out the bass. Use the drums and only the melody so it just sounds like... like just to kind of switch up the pacing and stuff like that of it too. Another thing I just kind of like figured out when just doing this. I know a lot of this stuff is probably just like basic music knowledge and stuff like that too, but going off of this, just like trying to learn on your own, and at most I looked up music theory, but that everything I came across basically was just like there's no rule, just try something. If it sounds good, it sounds good. So basically just from that, just trying to like figure out what to do. Cause I specifically know, like with my other ones and stuff too, I had a hard time just trying to know where to start. Being like, okay, do I start with the drums, the bass, or the melody? And as I look through all these, I do try some different stuff, at least like on a few of them. Where for these early ones, specifically for story 1, I definitely start with a bass first, then I just add drums to it, then I'll just add the melody. So far, some of the songs I think that are kind of better, those actually did start with a melody and then did the bass and the drums. But I'll like look at that one when I get to it, because that's like around story I think 2, and then like in story 3 I kind of play off of that a bit too, and then in 4, well, I'll get to that when I get to it. But yeah, so I'm just looking at the main menu and everything. Basically, that's kind of all the information I can kind of get off of it, just looking through it and all that. Just the melody I just kind of like threw together just to be like, does it sound good, and go with the bass. The bass, I just came up with something simple and just like roll that the entire way through, just changing it a little bit. So just going from, let me just get rid of this and just like hear the bass and stuff too in the updated one for these 2 parts. Like basically just something like that, where I just like tried something, then switch it up, just to try switching up the song a bit. But beyond that, that's really just it for looking at the main menu. Just the main thing I did, just learn working through it, just like add the triangle wave. It intensifies the bass a little bit by basically just copying the exact like square wave and just copying it and everything. Might like adjust it a bit so it sounds like pretty decent on that. So if I play it without the drums, just how it sounds and stuff there, compared to if I just take out the triangle wave, it just sounds like, so it just adds like at least a tiny bit to it. Yeah, but normally I don't like just use the triangle wave itself as a bass, because if you use the triangle on its own, it just sounds like you just really won't hear that, because it's not like as intense as using a square wave for the bass. So that's just why I just end up using it that way. But yeah, I just wanted a quick look and stuff at this too and all that, so I can be able just to like get out real quick what I did and all that and everything. Just I'm going to keep continuing looking at some of my other ones and stuff too. But for myself and everybody else, see you in the next one.